I fear for these people, whoever it is, because we are saying watoto wanatumiwa vibaya. Then basi huyu mtu akona nguvu, because watoto wanatumiwa vibaya, kidogo journalist wanatumiwa vibaya. Si tuliona wakizima kamera, you wonder why a whole professor of law will say zima kamera kwani anaoga nje.
At least you have seen how defending some things is very hard, you know. And one day, maybe if you see it, you grow old, I think you might watch yourself in a TV and be like, wow, was this me? So before somebody is a politician, somebody is a human being. Yeah, so these are just masks everyone is wearing here, but when you go home now, you remind yourself of who you are.
Hey guys, welcome to MJTV. This is your boy, the king of udaku himself. So leo nataka niwapakulie udaku nambari moja in the city of Kenya, ama the capital city of Kenya, Nairobi, ya maceleb na hawa wadau wengine. So guys, stay tuned and let's go. Let's dive into the video. Sawa? Yeah, peace. Yeah.
No, one, because I was in KMC.
You were well at KMC.
And KMC did journalism.
Yes.
So you're taught to be fearless.
Yes. And
he was also there. I think that
was he your senior?
Yes, he was my senior. Walikuwa kwanza na drama mbili. Walifanya maandamano. They had a different play from the one the school presented. So
and you won.
You won, eh?
Yeah.
Nice. Na yao haikufungwa. Now so I come from that whatever, but also in art whatever we do ni kioo cha jamii. So what I'm doing is not politics. It's state of, actually it's one of my easiest things to create is current affairs. Because 50% has already been done.
But it's also satire.
It's satire, exactly.
Yeah,
so 50% has been done.
Yeah.
But my worry is, and I've seen Itumbi with the handbook, and I was so happy because now we are following the handbook. But when it comes now on the other side, because that's not him who makes the decision, when it comes to having a CS, we throw the handbook of the country, which is the constitution, and now we say a CS must not be a technocrat. Wewe ni beshte yangu. Again, we are talking about a teacher who is going to teach drama must not be a TSC. But now when it comes to the country, anyone, wewe, do you have anything in health? Ai, hauna. CS kuja tumpatie ya health. Haya, tunaenda security. Hauna mahali umeguzana security, tunapatia. So at the end of the day, the people who are not, like for example, we have a board chair who is not an engineer, but she's sitting and be an engineer. So what does that also tell us? So I think we must walk the talk. And the problem I have is like we have two mouths. So today, the government is speaking from this mouth, saying, never again, that thing lingers in my head, never again shall people be killed. And then this other mouth
kills.
Yes. Then the next day, never again. Abduction,
yes,
it happens. Never again corruption, it happens. So that's why we are not quick to believe what the government is saying, and that's why these voices are coming even from the children, because now kidogo chapati, even now it might be true tutapata chapati, but mahali tumefika juu tumezoea. You're like, ay, kweli chapati even.
By the way, unasema ile chapo 1 million a day ama?
Hapana, sisemi hiyo. Again ni satire.
Speaking of satire, Njugush, ebu check one of your skits about. Ebu check.
Wali wako wapi? We, nyinyi ni waterere girls? Nyinyi ni hao mnajua sana. Darasa moja A. Katika darasa la Yo play yenu haina nini? Haina mahali kuna makofi? Niwe nauliza. Nakwambia wewe Simba Malala. Wewe! Kwani anakaa benyi? Hakuna mahali mnapiga makofi?
Hapana.
Unajua sasa mtemi hafurahi? Hamna mahali mnashangilia mtemi? Na kuonyesha mambo amefanya? Niwe nauliza.
Hatuna.
Headgun, niwe nauliza. Hamna?
Hatuna.
Nyinyi ndio waigizaji. Michezo ya kuigiza. Mlikuja shule kusoma ama kuigiza? Kioo cha jamii ndio nyinyi hawa darasa moja A. Terere girls. Mko na court order. Okay. Haya.
Your police station not happy.
So I think one, the constitution allows us, and I think this is the most fortunate thing to happen in our times.
The
freedom of speech, and that's why people are asking questions. Two, people are learned.
Yes.
When they are seeing these things, they know we should get this.
Okay.
Like, for example, tell me why an MP should be given money to do things that are devolved. And then the governor, so we are undermining devolution. The governor ako hapo hapewi pesa.
Yeah.
Every time they have press conferences, tunataka pesa iachiliwe, inaachiliwa nusu. But there is some money, quick money, yenye inatoka. Tunaenda mlima, pesa itatoka. Tunafanya nini?
Yeah.
So there is quick money ya kanisa, but there is no quick money. Even for the MPs, jana waligoma, wakasema hatutaendelea, pesa ikatoka.
Leo ikatoka.
Yes.
Haraka sana. By the way, how long does it take you to turn around the skit? Plus minus?
I think 50%, as I said, work has already been done. Tunajua vile. And that's why we have books that you can take hiyo kitabu na useme hii ni Kenya. Mai waziri wa
no, unasema hizi skits zako.
Niko trako ila aterere. I'm saying 50% work has already been done. Like you know what he's saying or she's saying.
Rules aside, ask Ole Itumbi why the play was allowed to sell all through, or sail, right? Sail all through up to zonal to regionals. Now that they were allowed all along, it's unfair that they were not allowed to give their last and best shot.
Okay, my answer is the same like I started by saying, that on the issue of the Butere girls play, the easier and right thing was for them to stage the play.
So what are you doing about it? Now that they were disadvantaged, the rights of the girls were infringed.
As I said, I then went on to quantify that. I said once it moved from a play to a discipline issue, when they picked a microphone and addressed their teachers, it moved to a discipline issue. Just a minute. You know, Malala, let me conclude. I explained myself and I won't go back to that again. All I will tell you is at the point when it was still a play, there was no reason to stop them. At the point when they picked a microphone, and I gave you a good example.
Came first?
The play, and that's why they got up to the stage.
Yeah, so you should address the issue of them not
you can't
performing.
separate the two, unfortunately. Once it became a discipline issue, then it is handled as per the education and school rules. Because unfortunately, and that's to answer Queen, we also need private sector to invest in theatre. Let's also have a private sector festival. This is a government festival, fully funded by government.
Exactly
we'll operate on government rules.
Saying. You are speaking from both sides of your mouth.
No, those are not two sides of my mouth. Actually, that is the same side.
All right, listen,
that
folks.
it can only work if there is private sector investment.
You know, Crazy Kena, you don't speak very much, but your videos speak volumes.
Yeah, you know.
What are you trying to say there? What are you trying to say?
I think you can already see what I was trying to communicate, because one thing I've learned about the government and particularly life is a man is what he does, not what he says. And in communication, when you keenly study how the government communicates, and there are some 3 pillars of communication, ethos, pathos, and lagos, you notice that ethos, pathos, and lagos. You notice that the government is very good at lagos, communicating in a place where they evoke the emotion, the emotional appeal. So I always say that, I always believe that before somebody speaks, let us check the credibility, the ethos part. Why are you, because they might say A, but do B.
Yeah.
So it's advisable for the people to actually be attentive to what the government is doing, not what the government is saying. Yeah.
How long does it take you to do a skit normally?
It depends, sometimes 6 hours, 5 hours, but the production process is, it begins from the conceptualization of the idea, the writing itself, the casting, the directing, everything is just like a whole film format. So it might take maybe, the shooting itself 6 hours, but the development of the idea might take some days.
Na kina Deno wamekuthreaten, wamekupigia simu?
Bado.
It would be wrong to continue this discussion without correcting that perspective. There was absolutely no donation made by Kenya government to the Grammy Awards.
But
just a minute, let me no, he's lying. So let me just correct him. Let me update him. He has no idea.
Who can lie?
Malala has no idea. Let me just tell him the truth and the facts as they are. then he can spin all he wants. First, when he says capitation was done by government, he was seated in cabinet because he was UDASG last year at cabinet secretary level. No, just a minute. And he was seated there. He never corrected it in cabinet. He never spoke about it last year. He speaks about it now. But just a minute. On Grammy Awards, Kenya government, Nigeria, Rwanda, and South Africa lobbied to have, Grammys had an idea to set up in Africa a Grammy, that's the Recording Academy headquarters. Kenya, like all the other 4 countries, bid to host the Recording Academy in Kenya. And part of the bid is to pay the money, 500 million.
The money
just a minute, let me... we bid, the bid has not yet been decided. On February 27 and 28, there are delegations to Los Angeles office of the Recording Academy. If we lose the bid, of course the money is returned. Every bid, you bid with a proposal.
Are you going to hire Queen to direct for you?
This government has criminalized creativity. My best creative, if you ask me, my best creative right now is Kibet Bull. The person who was drawing cartoons. But he was abducted. He was tortured. He has been intimidated into silence. And therefore, we must, first of all, work out on the issue of criminalizing creativity. We want Dennis Itumbi. Dennis Itumbi is a victim of abduction.
How so?
That's true.
When we were going to the elections, Dennis Itumbi was abducted, was harassed. He nearly faced his death. Why it not for the creatives, the likes of Wakina Kibet Bull, Wakina Crazy Kena&Njugush, who raised their voice on social media? Dennis Itumbi would not have been released. But now, when Kibet Bull is being harassed, when Kibet Bull is being abducted, Dennis Itumbi is silent just because he's seated on the dining table.
I tweeted about that issue.
No, tweeting is not enough.
No, but what did you want me to do?
You should have talked to the person who had abducted Kibet Bull.
You knew the person. You know the person. I have no idea. Tell me.
You know the person.
Do you know the person?
AG. Ask the former AG.
Do you know them?
Ask the former AG. He told us the person. You want me to say the person?
Yes.
Are you sure? Are you sure, Jeff?
If you are 100%.
Are you sure you want me to say the person?
On TV.
Dare me. Are you sure? Now, second, on that.
I am sure myself. I am sure. Name the person.
Sure, but
name the person.
Jeff, it is at this point that you should have read Barack Budruk and remind us that it is written that a tiger never talks about its tigritude. It bounces. There is a tiger here talking about its tigritude. Not able to bounce. But also, I wanted to interject so that...
That's not my closing remark. My closing remark has to do with what we are called upon to do as artists and even as citizens. We are told that the price of freedom is eternal vigilance. We chose a system that we call democracy. And democracy will need our vigilance for us to be able to sustain it as we have, and even better. And so it is a call to us who are in the art space to take our space to communicate, speak truth to power. And in the same breath, I would like to join Dennis Itumbi in saying that what happened to Butere girls was totally unfortunate, should never have happened, and that should be a learning for us, not only as leadership, but also as a country. But then, taking the conversation forward, we as artists are also called upon to take upon our responsibilities. How well are we organizing as artists? I have been a visual and performing artist my adult life. When I needed to belong to a professional body, there's no professional body that I can come into. We are not organized as artists. I'm having to be a member of PRSK. I'm having to be a member of MSK. I'm sitting in parliament today. MSK, an organized body of marketers, is coming to us and saying, these are the laws that we think would work well for us. PRSK is coming to us and saying, we as PR practitioners, we would like to see these and these laws taken up. Where are the artists? Because I belong to some groups where the problems are so well enumerated, nobody is coming up with a solution, even amongst ourselves as artists. And I think this is a challenge that I should take up as an artist. We should take up collectively as an artist and ask ourselves, who are we waiting to come and organize us so that we can have a voice? When the teachers go on strike, when the doctors go on strike, it's because they have a lobbying platform on which they can springboard from. So even as we are placing blame elsewhere, even as we are finger pointing, we also need to ask ourselves, what is it that we are doing for ourselves, even as artists?
Absolutely.
So,
Gush,
Yes.
you're a well-known actor. You're a well-known actor.
Am I? I think what I'd say is, I think what we're having is a government of major minor.
Of major?
Minor. We are majoring in minor issues. What we are discussing, we wouldn't be discussing. We are not supposed to be discussing what we are discussing now, because that's a minor issue. We've always done that. We had Shackles of Doom, same culprit.
And the same play right here.
Same culprit, yeah. So we had that, and we always had that, because again, art is the mirror of the society, kioo cha jamii. So whatever we are talking about, it's something that we have. I'll take you back to Kifo Kisimani, where we are talking about Mtemi Bokono. Tunaweza sema in this case Bonoko. Mtemi Bonoko ana expect kuimbiwa nyimbo za sifa. There is a Batu who is the advisor to the Mtemi. Mtemi is the sultan in this case. Batu tells him, watu wako na wewe. Then they go to the meeting, they realize people are not coming. They were told to wait in Mingamiwili so that they come as a group. Why are not people coming? They are saying, hatukubalishi kunywa maji kwa kisima. Is it something that we can attest to now? In the same book, there is somewhere Askari 1 and 2. One Askari is for the people, the other is not for the people. The Askari 2 who is not for the people, ask who are those coming? Askari 1 says, ni bibi yako anakuja kuimbia nyimbo za mapenzi. So this is what they are learning in school. So first of all, this is not politics. It's what they are learning in class. Kitabu cha tamthilia. That's what they are doing. And it's examinable by the Kenya National Examination Council. Now, that is what they are learning. Outside, as he said, there are kids who went, maybe in some time, they were tear gas somewhere in Langata. They were told, now, we are going to give you laptops. They never saw them. Now they're in high school. They are 3 years away, because at most, I think they are 15, 16, 17. So in 3 years' time, the time now we are saying 2027, Kumi Bila break, is when these kids are ready to vote. So they might know a thing or two. And we are seeing, now I have a problem with what we are saying about TSC compliant teachers. Now tell me, do we also get watchmen who are TSC compliant? We have the non-teaching staff in school, and there is a reason why we have. TSC the other day, they were short in numbers of teachers. So, if they are short in numbers of teachers, when it comes to drama and other co-curricular activity, we're talking about football, don't you think it's also fair these guys take what they are doing? Because now what we are doing is, we are realizing just now that we have pedophiles in those teachers, which is wrong. And as we are going through that route, what happens to the young arts, the young sportsmen and women, who this country, every time they are running, we are behind them, and it starts at the secondary school, so to speak. So my problem is, first, with the verification of the drama teachers as a group. 2, I fear for these people, whoever it is, because we are saying watoto wanatumiwa vibaya. Then basi huyu mtu akona nguvu, because watoto wanatumiwa vibaya, kidogo journalist wanatumiwa vibaya. Si tuliona wakizima kamera, you wonder why a whole professor of law will say zima kamera, kwani anaoga nje. Aya 2, but let me finish. Every time the doctors wanatumiwa vibaya. The other day, the clergy inatumiwa vibaya, kwani kila mtu anatumiwa vibaya. So in my own opinion, I feel it was really unfair to go to that extent where you're even bringing friendly policemen to come and deal with school children. For me, well, we have other issues in Baringo. Every time we have security issues, kids are doing boarding, not by kupenda, it's just because we don't have security. So they're in boarding school, in day school, because of lack of security. The other contingent, iko Haiti. I don't want to go there. But I feel we are majoring in minor issues. Like, for example, as he said about the Grammys, why do we need the Grammys? First of all, the arts we have, we live from mouth, is it hand to mouth?
Hand to mouth.
Yeah, from one gig to the other. Before we go to the Grammys,
Yes.
we live from, so we are majoring in minor, those are minor issues. Can we focus on the issues at hand? When we're talking about TSC compliance, is it CBC compliance? Some schools don't even have desks. And we're talking about, we need teachers who are TSC.
We don't even have
and the
classes
TSC,
in some places.
yeah, and the TSC
You saw those stories in Baringo, eh?
Yeah.
You saw the guy taking us through Baringo.
know,
But
Jeff,
Dennis,
I
let
find
me ask you this question. Before, is it Kena? Give us some final thoughts going forward.
Okay, to me, first of all, I will take my words to the fourth estate, the media itself. Maybe I believe sometime you should remove the cameras away from these guys. Because
from these politicians?
Yes. Yeah. Because the more you put it on them, the more they become famous, the more they enjoy what they are doing. So if you start, maybe if you take away the audience they have, we might have a nation where people are working to do work, not to be famous. Then another thing, Itumbi, at least you have seen how defending some things is very hard, you know. And one day, maybe if you see it, you grow old, I think you might watch yourself in a TV and be like, wow, was this me? So before somebody's a politician, somebody's a human being. Yeah, so these are just masks everyone is wearing here. But when you go home now, you remind yourself of who you are. And lastly, to that young boy who's watching, I've been in content creation for now 7 years. And I'm on a journey to win the Oscar Awards. And all this through, I've been doing it, not thinking about what is the government saying, what's the plan of the government. I believe that that young boy at home, just do whatever you are doing, whether you are learning to be a teacher, whether you're learning to be a doctor, a screenwriter. Just make sure that, you know, Martin Luther said that when you sweep, let their people come and say there was once a great sweeper there. Just do it, forget about these people, because these people have a lot of political scores to settle. By the time they are done, you'll be waiting there and you'll feel like they have not changed your life.
Yeah. So like Lupita, your dreams are valid?
Yes.
Hey, Crazy Kena. Cheza kama wewe.
Do what we do. So because you've seen the engagement when we talk, when we clear things and we come together and agree. But I'd love to say, I think we need to be truthful with each other. We need to tell each other the truth because I'd want someone to explain to me why this is not dictatorial when you tell the media to switch off the cameras. For me, that got me, and you're a professor of the law. Tell me why we need to toe the line. If not, you're abducted. If not worse, you're killed. And we've seen footage of policemen shooting at people. I don't think that's the right thing. And when we say that's wrong, the youth are under drug abuse. Again, as he said, he knows where the drugs barons are. But I'd like to close with a story because we're talking about art. There used to be a rich man. He had a beautiful home. It's a story I love to give. And this is the reason why we should all talk and agree. So in this home, he had rat men. So he decided he was going to get a rat trap. He came and placed it. You know a rat trap? Yes, it traps rats at home. Now, he set the trap and he went outside. So the rat went and told everybody that there's a rat trap in the house. He went and told the cow there's a rat trap. He went and told the goat and the chicken. They were like, it doesn't concern us. At the end of the day, it's a rat trap. So, and the rat continued with its life. Unfortunately, one day when the man was not around, the man's son came and was wondering, what is this? And then the trap got him. Now it got him by the veins and he started bleeding. Unfortunately, no one was home. He bled out and died. When he died, the first responders were the neighbors. So when they came to say sorry, the chicken was slaughtered and they were like, pole sana, and they went. Later on, the church came. The goat had to be slaughtered. When the funeral came, the only remaining thing that could be slaughtered, naitoshea kila mtu, was the cow. Oh. They slaughtered the cow and the rat lived. So I think when we talk, it's very important. It's not like we are talking against someone. Dennis is my friend. He was in the last government, he's in this government. What we are talking about is, even after here, will we be able to follow the rule of law and not the rule of us? What you say is the rule of law. Are we able to follow the Constitution? Because that's why we have the Constitution. So I think to close it is, we just want things to work. We don't want that this is working, this person is bad. Nobody hates William Ruto, nobody hates Cleo, KJ, nobody hates them. And you can see how they interacted. Nobody hates the leaders and vice versa. But can you listen to what you're saying? Again, I'll repeat, and I hate to say this, you saw what happened when one of the member of parliaments lost a kin. It was very different from what happened when the bodyguard to the Right Honorable Raila Odinga passed. People were like, they felt it. Why? Listen to what people are saying. Let's listen to each other.
Na hiyo mtego ya panya.
Hiyo mtego nitakuonyesha.
Huyo mtu alikuwa anaitwa wa mitego.
Infectious.
Prince Job says, so Njuguna is owning a police station in Kenya.
No, hiyo nilikuwa nimelenga, but now that it has come up again.
Yes, it's come up.
That's actually the flag of Germany upside down. Because we are talking about props. We are talking about it's propping and everything, so we make it work for what it is. So that's what it is. But again, I'll remind you, because I'm in a fire, the salvos are coming from...
Yes.
And I think this is what I think we should avoid, where we have people who are not technocrats in places of making decisions, because whatever they do will always be he's right, he's wrong, you're wrong, I'm right. And that's why you find a lot of the technocrats who are in the previous cabinet after the maandamano to cool things down, then they were taken out, there's no fuss.
Yes.
Madam Nakumencha, she went and she was like, Nili, futwa kazi, there's no fuss. But the technocrats, starting with the impeachment, now coming to our latest guy in press briefing, they're always talking, I'm right, they are wrong. You are wrong, you're right. So when we separate all these things, we put people who want to do the right thing for the country and not to be right. I'm right, you're wrong. Because now what we are doing currently is you are wrong, and that's why they cannot apologize for tear gassing, because you are wrong for bringing politics. And now we say we are right, you are wrong for... So who brought politics in the play? Is it him, or is it now the tear gassing and everything? So everyone wants to be right.
So Njugush, let me take a challenge and take this with the full act.
I think this is the problem we are having. Because na nitanyorosha huko kiboko moja. Once na we have seen other leaders hata wakitoka huko wamenyamaza. Wakati wako huko mtu haongei.
Lakini
ananyamaza, anaendelea na mambo, wanapiga picha pale State House na mtukufu, wako sawa. Lakini akitoka kwa kiti press conference kama sita
mwambie
akiongea so my problem is can we talk the truth when we are there and you can see what is happening here. Sasa watasema siri zao na sisi natubamba because as they are doing that kuna siri hata hatukuwa tunajua zinatoka.
There's a good question on the wall.
Just let me finish, then you can come in. You will have a whole menu to respond to. The most consequential president for the creative economy since independence is President William Ruto. One, he's created...
To say that.
No, just a minute. Let me finish. He's created a state department for the creative economy. Never happened before. In fact, creative economy was not even a directorate. It was a small officer's thing. It was not even part of it. He's made it a state department. Number two, he's created an office at the presidency to coordinate the entire creative economy.
Is that
on
you?
the arts.
Is that you?
Yes.
That's you?
Yes.
Thanking him.
Number three.
Okay,
Number three. No, let me finish. Then we can all come to it. Number three, he has engaged for monetization all the major platforms personally, and Njugush, we invited him to those platforms. We invited Njugush in those meetings. We invited several creators. In 2023, actually, Njugush took the microphone in the drama festivals at State House and said that we started on the right note because even the staging of the items, the final stage is no longer staged on grass like in the past with the former president. It's a proper stage with lighting and all the equipment that is needed. If there is a president who is interested and who is the most consequential for the creative economy, is President William Ruto. In music, a guy was paid 13 bob, Jeff, for a whole year on royalties. 13 bob. Yet, there are people in those offices who earn as a salary more than 1 million shillings.
And you're giving Queen 4K.
No, that's a different issue. In 2011, it was COVID. It was a very different issue. Finally.
Let me ask you this, Dennis, real quick. Real quick. Why did you kick this man out?
I mean, that is for you to understand the politics, you'll have to invite the politician. Please invite President William Ruto and you can have the discussion. Or invite actually the UDA structure and you will get the answers. As for Dennis Itumbi and Malala, in fact, he was appointed as SG.
Yes.
And in his tenure, he did not create a creative economy department in the UDA. Now the new SG has created a creative economy department in the UDA. So, I mean,
of course,
the results speak for themselves. The results speak for themselves. You know, it's one thing to parrot here and say what you do, but when you're given the office, what did you do for the creative economy under UDA? Malala just simply doesn't know that Kenya government has gone further to support creatives by even bringing the Recording Academy here. And that part of the deal is to create state-of-the-art, globally accepted visual studios at Konza. Part of that deal, it's not Konza actually, it's at Talanta Sports City. Just a minute, at Talanta Sports City. Just a minute. Just a minute.
We placed our deposit.
Yeah, it's not a deposit. No. Jeff, let's be fair. It's not a deposit.
Wait.
Countries place a bid. I mean, even when you're bidding for the World Cup, you place a bid, you put a proposal, you put a presentation, both tourism and commercial, and if you lose the bid, you get back what belongs to you.
Okay, wait.